So here we're looking at the volume of a composite solid. Now there's two different ways that you can do this. It's why I've got the page split in half. Pretty much do whichever way suits you, but I will show you both of them. So this shape here is a rectangular prism, and it's got this half a cylinder missed from it. So I'm going to call it the first solid, and I'm going to call this half a cylinder, the second one. So for my shape 1, it's a rectangular prism, so we're looking at its face times its depth. Its face is length times width times its depth. It has got 10 by 5 for the face and a depth of 5, so 10 times 5 times 5. 10 times 5 is 50, times 5 is 250, and it could be in centimetres cubed, but I don't really need the answer till the end, but I'm going to write it in anyway. And our second shape is half a cylinder. The cylinder's face is pi squared, and we need half of that because it's half the circle, and then times by its depth. And then our volume is a half of pi. This is the difficult part for this outright, knowing what the radius of this circle is. The thing where it's hard, and anytime you've got a question like this, if you know it's 10 across here, and if the circle or the semicircle goes from one side to the other, I know it also has to be 10 across the bottom. So if it's 10 across the bottom, I know from the middle to the outside, then it has to have a radius of 5. So pi times 5 squared times 5. Now I'm going to pause it for a moment to do that on the calculator and come up with an answer. And I've come up with the answer 196.35 centimetres cubed. Now you can check here to see if you're on the right track, because the volume of that has to be smaller than the whole rectangle because it's not as big as the rectangle. So if that number's smaller than that, it means we're probably on the right track. Now, our total volume was the 250 for the outside piece, and this circle piece is missing from it, so you will take away 196.35, and that will give you a final answer of, gives us the answer of 53.65 centimetres cubed. So that's the answer that way. The important thing to remember is, say if you've got a prism which looks like this, right, and you don't have a piece missing but you've got a piece added on, then you will split it into your two prisms. You'll find the first one and the second one, and because they're added together to give you the whole shape, you would add them together. You've only taken away when there's a part missing. So that's the first way to do it. The second way to do it is we find the face first. So the face of this shape, now it's not as good, but it looks like this. That circle should definitely be higher, and this part here was shaded in. Right, we need to know the area of that first. So the area of this, the first shape, is a square, which is length times width. It had a length across here of 10 and a width of 5, which gave us 50 centimetres squared because it's area. Second shape was this circle. Now, like we said on the other side, it's 10 all the way across here, so it had to be 5 from the middle to the outside. So the second shape is equal to a half of pi r squared because it's half a circle. So a half of pi 5 squared, and I'm just going to double check that on the calculator. And when I did that, I worked out that half the circle was 39.27 centimetres squared. Again, it's worth thinking, okay, this circle is smaller than that whole rectangle, so the area should be smaller, which tells me I'm on the right track. So the area of this face is that rectangle with that circle missing, so 50 take away 39.27 will give us 3. Sorry, I'll pause it for a minute. And what I've done is I've found that the face of this object is 10.73. Now again, it should be in centimetres squared, and I'm having issues with this pen all the time. So, centimetres squared. Now, we know the volume of a solid is its face times its depth. So the face was 10.73, the depth was 5, and when you do 10.73 times 5 on a calculator, you get 53.65, and its volume, so the answer is in centimetres cubed. Either way works. This way you generally work with smaller numbers than what we've done over here, but there might be another extra step to it on what we had on this side. So whichever way works for you, either way is fine, and go for whichever way is easiest.